Hello and welcome back to another episode of Ringleader Reads Reddit. And today we're going to a quick Reddit article to talk about a couple of different things. Before we get started, if you enjoy Goblin's content, if you enjoy listening to me ramble, hit like and subscribe. It's the easiest way to support the channel and it's free. If you want to do more, support the channel, $1 a month because your name read out on every stream. Alright, now from the top, we found something very interesting today. Isn't Toff, Hard-Headed Heater, and Fable Passage just free ramp and standard every turn? I think this is a great point. The writer, big shout out to Free Database 9917. They wrote a really interesting segment down at the bottom. It said, you're going to cast a spell each turn. Just Earthbend the Fable Passage to search for a land, and then it comes back. As an additional, all your additional spells, just Earthbend your other cards. Really good idea. Really good take. I didn't even think about this. We do have Fable Passage, and you will be casting spells. So as long as you have like one Fable Passage to the side and the turn after you play Toff, or let's say you have a 1-mana spell, you play Toff on 6, you have a Fable Passage and a mana up, you go to shock your opponent's creature, you're, putting the Earthbend count on your Fable Passage, you crack it, boom, instant ramp. Also, this same line could be applied to fetch lands in EDH as well as wastelands in EDH as well. Like, preferably you can get this out turn 2 with a Soul Ring. There's like a lot of ways that you can break Toff. And then like Fable Passage is just like a staple of Standard. This is one of those cards that you look at and you're like, oh yeah, I know what this card does. And every time you play with it, it's like, okay, there's landfall synergies. There's Crucible style synergies. There's so many different ways to exploit the lands that are in your graveyard. And I think that overall, it's just a huge advantage if you're able to just get one more land than your opponents every turn. We talk about how good green ramp is in EDH, and just being able to over and over again, let's say you have a Toff deck, you're trying your best, and you're just earthbending over and over again, putting it on indestructible creatures, wastelands, Fable Passages, or fetch lands. But I think what's really interesting about this post is it's talking specifically about Standard. It's talking about how the cards will be used in Standard and how you can utilize Fable Passage, which most decks already play, and, the Gruul Toff, which is a good card. This card will see play in green decks splashing red just for, like, removal and Toff, or full-on Gruul decks that are playing stuff like Boomy and other, like, hard-hitting Gruul powerhouses. I think that this card might be one of the biggest sleepers out of this set. Being able to, when it enters, you pitch a land and you get to pick up an instant or sorcery. So you get to, like, exchange a dead card in your hand for removal. And then on top of that, you're constantly earthbending your lands. You can make all of them 1/1s, or you can make one of them like an 8/8. I'm imagining even if you're just casting one spell per turn, right? That's a free chump blocker. That's mana acceleration if you're putting it on a Fable Passage. There's so many different ways. And, it's a consistent source of damage too. Like, if you have a way to just make sure that your creatures are going to inevitably hit them over and over and over again, Toff might be a great example of a card that you want to be playing in red decks splashing green and green decks splashing red. So that's the first idea that I had, which was just like, hey, I think that it's really important to look at these new cards and say, what do we think they can do, and what do we think that they can, not do? I think that Fable Passage plus Toff is a really good point. Big shout out to the Redditor who brought this point up. Free Database 9917. Absolutely great take. Toff plus casting a spell on your Fable Passage, earthbending. This is just free ramp every single turn. Hey, appreciate you dropping in. Thank you so much for being here. The other post that I wanted to talk about was Ultima absolutely wrecks earthbending, kind of segueing into like what we were just talking about. When it destroys earthbending cards, the turn ends, so they do not return to the battlefield tapped. Ultima is currently 50 cents. Does this interaction make it go up? And this honestly just has to do with how strong Ultima is in the current meta. Are control decks huge? I think control decks are going to be huge. I think that with the huge nerf that mono red deck has taken, on top of the fact that the combo mid-range deck, Vivi was the main combo mid-range deck, is just taking so many hits. It's not going to be like blue-red mid-range is still going to be a thing. blue-red draws matter is going to exist. It's just not going to be as good as it was. So I think the control decks are actually poised because they're the only thing that didn't lose anything. The control decks are the only deck in the entire format of Standard that didn't lose any pieces. They still have stock up. They have consult. They're the strongest that they've ever looked. And I feel like it's really important to just focus on looking at the format as, okay, what could be? And I think that in a mindset like that, what could be good? Control. Control could be good, depending on whether or not we think that that's, accurate, depending on whether or not we think that that's going to be a real thing that's going to pan out. We just got to wait and see. But I think it's really important to look at these new cards and say, okay, what can we do? What can be used to break the format? And so Earthbending looks really strong. Ultima looks really strong because Ultima is very good against Earthbending. And if Earthbending is the best thing we can be doing in Standard, again, we talked about how Control's going to be amazing. Control decks are going to naturally suffer against the Earthbending cards because they're resilient. They always come back. So it's really important for us to try to figure out, okay, which direction are we going in? Do we want to be playing Teamer in our Toph deck for Earthbending so that we can Spell Pierce? Do we want to try our best to figure out what colors we want to play just to get underneath Control, try to kill them, and then once they board wipe, have hasty threats or direct damage in the form of burn? Like, what direction do we want to take the format? Where is it going to go from here? And yeah, I just wanted to talk about these two really small, quick Reddit articles that kind of link to each other. Earthbending is very powerful. There's this really cool ramp interaction in Standard. Also, there's this really cool board wipe that people just haven't been playing that also kind of hoses the mechanics. So this has been Ringleader Reads Reddit. If you want to watch more of these videos, if you want to see more of this, let me know in the comments by subscribing, and then drop a comment what you like, what you want me to see in the future, what you don't like. I read it all. I respond to it all. So till next time, we stream every single day, 10 o'clock p.m. CST. Till next time, I hope you have a beautiful day. Peace.